haven't you people ever heard of?
That was Hannah and kind of emo a little bit.
I think I had dyed my hair black at that point. There's a picture. It's gonna be in the episode. You'll see it. All right. Now I'm gonna get up and bring it to you.
Yeah, you are. Don't knock the mic.
I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is the Bandwagon. Last week, we talked about all the trades that were made at the deadline, and as terrifying as Zach Greinke is going to be on the Astros, I was most excited about the big deal that didn't go down, which is why it should come as no surprise at all that, as promised, I'm bandwagoning the Giants! The San Francisco Giants are the reason that we are all sitting here today doing a show about my sports disloyalty, and for that, I will always love them. The Giants were the first team that I bandwagoned back in 2012. A big reason that I was bandwagoning them was Tim Lincecum, which is why our set features the only Fresno Grizzlies bobblehead that is proudly on display anywhere. My family got me that for Christmas a few years ago because they love me, or because they still haven't forgiven me for diluting my Phillies fandom, and they figured that a regular reminder that the Freak played his last Major League game in 2016 was the high art of trolling. Yeah, he's not on the team anymore, so. Plenty of other Giants players from the teams that I rooted for back during their incredible 3-championship and 5-year run are still with the team today. This is not to their credit. At the end of June, the Giants were 36-47 and in last place in the NL West. Then they posted the best record in baseball over the month of July, didn't trade Madison Bumgarner at the deadline, and are now in second place and sort of serious contenders for the wild card spot. It doesn't mean that this collection of over-the-hill nostalgia bait and Orioles castoffs are a good team. The Giants are fun because they overperform. Their 19-6 run in July included 7 extra innings wins, which shows a penchant for drama and ability to win close games, and helps to explain how a team that's above 500 has a negative 55 run differential. It probably won't carry them into the playoffs, but then again, it just might. So, reasons to bandwagon the Giants. Number 1, Bruce Bochy, the gentlest French Giant since Andre is so unassumingly large, biggest head in baseball if you don't count Mr. Met, that he could be both the manager and the mascot. Because they're the Giants. He's very large. He's been managing the team since 2007 and is closing out his surely Hall of Fame career this season. Even if the team wins just half or more of their games for the rest of the year, Bochy will move up into the top 10 career manager wins, which is pretty cool. He'd move ahead of Leo Droscher. Also,
There's pictures.
this is the background on my phone.
There it is.
Hey!
Wrong. You can see it.
Cool.
Good for you, Bruce. Sorry, Jake.
Bochy has been around the Giants for so long that to some of the players he feels like family, specifically Pablo Sandoval, who actually calls Bochy his father. And apparently Sandoval needs that sort of paternal influence in his life. After dissing the Giants on his way out in 2015, he played a disastrous couple of years in Boston before getting released mid-season and signing a minor league deal back with San Francisco. And now he's an everyday player for the first time in 4 years and slugging .512. Not impressed yet. The guy they call Kung Fu Panda. Also pitchers in a pinch. He has 2 career no-hit innings off the mound and attributes his success to not even really trying, and said that he could throw just as well left-handed. If the Giants do drop out of contention, that could be something to look out for. I got this, by the way, as a giveaway at a Giants game, I think in like 2014, maybe? This is cute, but we're back. Madison Bumgarner is a modern day, sort of, Paul Bunyan, whose nickname conveniently means angry ass. Mad Bum. Here's just a list of not at all apocryphal anecdotes about Madison Bumgarner. He got married in jeans. He injured his pitching shoulder in a dirt bike accident. He freed a baby bunny that had been eaten by a rattlesnake by cutting the rattlesnake open and then nursing the baby bunny back to health.
And Madison thought it was a rattlesnake, so he grabbed an axe and he hacked the snake to pieces. When his wife Allie and an expert field dresser examined what was left of the snake, she found 2 baby jackrabbits inside pieces of the snake and extracted them. 3-1 pitch to Turner, way inside, ball 4.
He also dated a girl named Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, I do know that.
Yeah.
Is that true? Yeah.
By not trading Madison Bumgarner at the deadline, what Giants GM Farhan Zahidi meant was probably that the going rate for starting pitchers wasn't what they hoped it would be. But what I and any other latent Giants fans heard was that they're goddamn going for it. Root for the Giants, the worst team with an accidental vote of confidence from their front office.
Yeah. Giants.
That's the end of that segment. Would you say that you were a fan of that segment?
Yes.
Let's do fan, not a fan.
Pitchers in the outfield.
Vince Velasquez of the Phillies played the outfield while an outfielder pitched and showed that pitchers have very good arms, which is not surprising whatsoever. They should make use of this more often. He had 2 incredible outfield assists. Huge fan. Good job, Vince Velasquez. Is he a good pitcher? No. He's a better outfielder.
Free agent mascots.
So the people who created the Philly Fanatic are suing the Phillies to get the rights, I think, to the Philly Fanatic, so that way he can become a free agent fanatic and take his talents to the open market. A mascot? Is he gonna go to a different team?
That's what they want. Or sport.
I'm very pro-labor, and this is like a fairly cut and dry case of a worker trying to get like sort of autonomy to test the market. But I fucking hate this. Stay with the Phillies. No, the Philly Fanatic is the Philly Fanatic, and he should remain an indentured servant for the remainder of his unnatural life.
Yes.
Nice.
Not a fan.
Ginger guard.
Oh, what is his actual name? Something May? He's very dainty. Have you seen his legs? He has the skinniest legs and the smallest ass of a pitcher.
Why don't you objectify him?
He's a guy that just called up on the Dodgers. Dustin May. Not important because they call him Ginger Guard. Why? Very red hair, throws like Syndergaard. I like it. Good nickname. He resembles a fawn in his movements. When he ran down the line to get a foul ball, it was graceful.
Bandy guard.
Fan.
Axe throwing bars.
This weekend I went to the axe throwing bar.
Was Jake mad at you for ruining his birthday?
For being so much better than him at throwing axes, I was very good, and I don't say that lightly. I didn't even want to be good. I was lukewarm on even going. I was like, I don't really like activities, but fine. And then, I won't lie, I was phenomenal at this. Look, I don't like bragging about this either. Now I'm gonna have to go back to the axe bar. I'm a begrudging fan. Guess what we're bringing back? Fan of the week. Fan of the week. All right, it's all 4,000 UK fans who were in Baltimore for some reason this week and decided to go to an Orioles game. And because there's not a whole bunch to cheer about at an Orioles game, they decided completely arbitrarily, which is something that I identify with, to invest heavily in Anthony Santander, who is the left fielder. And every time he made any sort of play, like catching a pop fly, they just went f***ing nuts, and this is amazing. First of all, catching a pop fly seems very difficult. We lose all context for it because all baseball players can do it. But I appreciate the context of having people who are not familiar with the game be subject to like a whole assortment of baseball plays and deciding that this guy catching a ball is the thing that really stood out to them. Huge fan of these guys. They're my fans of the week. Woo! Cool. Let's do the humble puzzle. All right. This past weekend, at least 29 people were murdered in separate attacks less than 24 hours apart. If you count instances in which at least 3 people died, those are the 31st and 32nd mass killings this year. The Gun Violence Archives tracks incidents in which at least 4 people are shot, and there have now been 251 of those, more than 1 per day in 2019. None of this has anything to do with baseball, except that engaging with sports can sometimes make me feel complicit in normalizing the horrific senseless attacks that are a rarity everywhere in the world except America, which has decided that killing machines are part of our patriotic identity and that this is something to be proud of. I'm not talking about whether or not sports are political. They are, of course. But sometimes saying that can feel a little bit like a cop-out from having to engage with the even harder stuff. There's no moral grade attached to fandom, and sports are a useful conduit for empathy along with being a whole lot of fun. But sometimes they really are just a distraction. If you care about this, and you should, please spend some time this week seeking out rigorous reporting from people who are more educated and more expert on this subject than I am. But I can't pretend like those 29 deaths were not enough to distract me from a game. This week, I am finally getting to root for the Giants, who I love very, very much, and you should root for the Giants with me, or actually you probably should not, because if they stayed good, I'll just stick by them and we won't have a show next week. So, sorry.
Ooh.
Other things that I'm a fan of, begrudgingly, axe bars, all the Scottish fans who came to Baltimore, not a fan of the Philly Fanatic trying to get his freedom. Get back in the lamp, Genie. And it's very cold in this studio, so that's the end of this episode.
And we're out.